All right, and welcome to the YouTube exclusive. This is going to be our standard Wednesday stream. And allow me to set things up. Coming at you from the nexus of the universe. We'll be right back. All right, so today we'll be talking about all kinds of different various news stories, perhaps some economic stuff, and frankly, who knows what else. It's to be disclosed. So, we did talk about how we will talk about orcas, for example, and let me cut that. All right, so thanks for tuning into our standard Wednesday afternoon 2 p.m. and on stream. And leave us a comment. Let us know if there's something in particular, a news story you'd like us to cover, etc. We've decided to classify this video in the news and politics section. And so let's start things out by talking about crawdads. Yeah, I'm going to start things out by talking about crawdads, otherwise known as crayfish. And let's put an image of a crayfish on the screen. Yes, smash staff. Put an image of a crayfish on the screen at once. There we go. All right, you're lucky. All right, so I wanted to start out the stream by ranting about pollution and so on, because a lot of people mistakenly think that I'm some kind of like an oil company baron or something like that, or that I have some kind of vested interest or perhaps belief in propaganda, which is why the views that I have regarding climate are as they thusly are. As they currently are, I should say, because I haven't explained them, right? Anyway, the point is, people think that I don't recognize that pollution is an issue because I don't recognize the climate as controlled by mankind. So that's the point. And there are all kinds of ill effects that it's not like I don't take into consideration on the ecology. I have been studying this stuff since the late 1980s formally. So the point is, when you make the argument that the problem is the climate, which is a reference to the overall thermodynamic scenario of the planet, it's troublesome. It's troublesome because the suggestion is that mankind's contribution to the climate is that mankind is making the climate warmer through the emission of carbon dioxide, right? Do I have that correct? Just checking. All right, so anybody who's tuning in, leave a message. Thanks for leaving us a comment. Pull my finger, who says, "Wee." So yeah, thanks for joining thanks for encouraging me to speak the English language. Thanks for joining our live stream. Pull my finger. And thanks for your valuable patronage. Anyway, it turns out antidepressants have been causing suicidal behavior in crayfish the same way as they cause suicidal behavior in humans. Crayfish have been seen leaping into the mouths of smallmouth bass as a result of too many MAOIs in their water. So antidepressants rather, making life depressing for a crayfish near you. So that's basically, all right. I'm being facetious. That's not actually what's going on, but the point is, a chronic mix of pharmaceutical pollution is a problem when it comes to wastewater contamination. And since crayfish are super important, anyway, all kinds of chemicals that people use all the time are fatal to invertebrates. And of course, any disruption in any food chain causes all kinds of ripple effects. Little known fact, when wolves were readmitted, they were introduced artificially, wolves, reintroduced into Yellowstone. And it had a very weird effect. What did it do? It caused beaver populations to change, and the entire drainage structure of Yellowstone completely changed because of the effect on beaver populations. I believe beaver populations increased because beavers compete with something else that the wolves ate or something like that, like muskrats. It was like muskrat to beaver ratio or something. But the point is, when you reintroduce an apex predator, it completely affects the ecosystem. So guess what happens when you pull out any aspect of the ecosystem? And of course, I'm not talking about CO2 in this case, but if you start removing CO2 from the atmosphere, like if you get really good at removing CO2 from the atmosphere, you'd have to ask yourself why. Because I understand that the reason people think CO2 should be scrubbed from the atmosphere is because they think it's going to make the planet cooler. And it's because they don't seem to know anything about the thermodynamics of the planet. Let's talk about somebody who knows something about the thermodynamics of the planet. Orcas. One of my favorite animals of all time, right? Known as the killer whale, the orca, which is actually a dolphin. And they look and act exactly like dolphins. The more you think about it, the more shockingly like dolphins orcas look. It's because they're dolphins. But since they grow to be over 40 feet long, anyway, it's an utterly majestic animal. If you ever see one while you're in a rowboat, it's very unlikely that it'll do anything to you. I don't think there are any documented cases of like actual violence in the wild, only in captivity. So we were watching some fantastic videos yesterday about top 10 orca contacts, some fantastic footage of them underwater and so on. Anyway, they are dolphins, that's the point. And let's look at some economic data here. Shifting gears a little bit to CNBC.com's website. So, I don't know what this headline is, but I'm going to put it on the screen. Okay, I'll put it on the screen. Dow drops more than 300 points after Fed sees inflation jump and rate hike in 2023. What say you, the viewer? Is somebody selling their junky bubble, cheap Fed money-induced stocks? What's that? Oh my God. Somebody let some air out of the bubble. The Fed proclaiming it may hike rates in 2 years. The the Fed might hike rates in 2 years, folks. Oh my God. Are you scared? All right. So, yes, thanks for leaving comments. Again, pull my finger. Nona314, John Edwards, John White. Yeah. So the Fed might raise rates in 2023. Let me go back to that. I got to cut back to the CNBC screen here. I'm going to leave the Smash News Network logo over top of their JP Morgan ads. YouTube will treat this favorably, as an algorithm has told demonic entities to not attempt to confiscate your soul. By the way, the nexus of the galaxy that we're broadcasting from is not the same place as hell. Hell is a different place than the nexus of the galaxy. That's a bright place. Heck and all of those places associated with heck and HE double hockey sticks, those are dark places. All right, so let's see what Bitcoin's doing according to Coinbase. And by the way, the reason the quotes are not the same is because there's no consensus on how to report the data. So the volume data can be very skewed when looking at crypto. Just a little warning for you if you are or are thinking of becoming a crypto trader. Beware the volume data. Trust your own resource, but there may be issues with the volume data. That's all I'll say. Anyway, I better get the Smash News Network off the screen here. Here's the 1-year chart of a Bitcoin, which, if anybody knows the carbon footprint of Bitcoin, please leave a comment and let us know what the carbon footprint of Bitcoin is. And if you also know what the carbon footprint of charging a Tesla is, also leave the comment in metric tons per year per million people of Bitcoin or charging Teslas. Let us know what the amount of carbon dioxide allegedly is. Okay? Thanks. All right, so now we're going to check out Ethereum. Here's the Coinbase quote for Ethereum. And the reason I use Coinbase is because I have a small token investment, since I consider crypto a speculative asset, but not a currency by any stretch. But much like Dutch tulips, or perhaps, oh, I don't know, tech stocks of the late 90s. Anyway, there's Ethereum. And it's clearly reached a support level here, and it's right at it right now. I mean, this kind of chart doesn't typically lie very much, and everybody's got a giant, massive boner for Ethereum right now. People trying to, to Bitcoinize it. So, and last but not least, I want to look at one other thing, which is, of course, and our regular viewers may have heard me refer to this before, stellar lumens. Which I'm pretty sure is on here. There it is. And CNBC doesn't show the Coinbase stellar lumens quote here, but stellar lumens is tradable on Coinbase. So, according to Coinmetrics, 32 cents per stellar lumen. So I may actually dollar cost average down a little bit at this point, because they're 32 cents per stellar lumen. So I won't get into the technicals of whether or not it's good. I'll give you this advice, though. When it comes to speculative investments, or really investments, period, buy low and sell high. That's all. That's all. Just buy low and sell high. It's however complicated you make it. All right, and let's head to some top-notch news sources. Let's get the hell out of the Smash News Network here, least busted name in news, and shift gears to CNN, the most trusted name in news. Are you trusting? Top headline is Biden. I did what I came to do. Biden and Putin speak after high-stakes Geneva summit. Let's play some footage. Oh my God. Putin is saying, did you have the quiche? The quiche was exquisite. And then Biden laughs and he says, I wasn't even aware anybody queefed. And then Putin says quiche, and Biden nods his head and wonders who queefed. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Don't quote me on it, though. That's just speculation. Sheer speculation. And let's put your chats on the screen as we let this clip play. In commemoration of these fascinating events, here's Henry Kissinger sitting in the foreground. I'm just kidding, folks. It's not really Henry Kissinger. Yes, yes. How's your warfare welfare state doing today? Ron Paul called and he said, aren't you reading our news reports? And I said, no, I'm making the ones that you should cover. All right, so again, thanks everybody for leaving comments here. Again, if you've got any news stories you'd like us to talk about, if you'd like to upend Wolf Blitzer here, which I know is a lot. You wouldn't want to, get in the way of Wolf Blitzer, because that is some objective news broadcast in there from Geneva. Holla. This woman is killing it, by the way. She's wearing this little navy blue number by Dolce & Gabbana. And she's got the hoop earrings there from the J-Lo collection, 2004. All right. Anyway, let's go to some other news stories here. I have no idea what they talked about. I think there'll be they're doing separate press conferences. This photo here, this is a commemoration to when Joe Biden said that he and Barack agree that all Americans need access to Batacav care. Batacav care. We analyzed it on the channel. We had covered so much, Joe Biden said. The reason it didn't go longer is, when was the last time two heads of state spent 2 hours in direct conversation directly across the table going into excruciating detail? You may know of a time, but I don't. I'm finding reading this quote excruciating. There was a summary done by him and by me of what we covered. Lavrov and Blinken talked about what we covered. We raised things that required more amplification. In other words, it's a secret. You're not allowed to know what he covered. Oh, START treaty. The extension of a START treaty, which is a Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. "12 minutes ago, CNN reports Putin relationship not about trust, but about, quote, self-interest and verification of self-interest." All right. Going deep into geopolitics here. Deep into geopolitics. By the way, one of my colleagues may be a Vladimir Putin lookalike. I'm not sure if there is a league for that or anything. Let us know in the comments if you're aware of any sort of a Vladimir Putin lookalike league, like Elvis impersonators, but with Vlad Putin. I'm not sure if it's a thing, but there's definitely a guy who would be a candidate. I'm not sure if the height is right, but it's got to be close. Anyway, let's check another news source here. We've checked the top headline from CNN. Let's check the top headline from Daily Wire. How about Daily Wire? We'll check the top headline from Daily Wire. See what editor-at-large Ben Shapiro, his website, is putting out. Explosive challenge to Navy Admiral for recommending critical race theory for every sailor. I don't have an opinion on this. No, I do have an opinion on this, but I'm not going to divulge it in this video because reasons. No, this is insanity. If these sorts of policies make our military stronger, then I guess they're good. The question I would ask you, the viewer, is, do these sorts of policies make the military stronger? And are they in the spirit of the military, past and present? I'll just let the article scroll here. Kendi wrote that white people are a different breed of humans and are responsible for the AIDS virus. Seems like it could be racism. I don't know, folks. What do you think? So there's the top headline on Daily Wire. And what other news sources do you like? I'm going to put one on screen here after I put your chats up. And thanks, everybody, for leaving comments. We'll put your chats on the screen here again. Let me just display those. Please bear with me during this moment of technological influx. All right. So there are the chats so far from this Wednesday afternoon live stream. Nona 314 is asking questions, but I'm not sure what they mean. Nona 314, should I be worried? Which is greater, dark or light? I think there's a balance. Some deep conversations happening in our comment section. Let's see what's going on Zero Hedge headlines. Deep thoughts in the comments section of our live streams. Unallocated gold, top headline. Fed blinks, projects 2 rate hikes by the end of 2023. Good luck. Now, the Federal Reserve is charged with preventing inflation by upholding the purchasing power, the value, the real value of the U.S. dollar. So the Fed has said for the last decade that a 2% interest rate is better than a 1% interest rate is better than a 0% interest rate. But there's some magical point when it comes to inflation percentages where inflation becomes bad instead of good. Now, they never really divulge what that might be. And good luck trying to figure out what it is, because the way the consumer price index is currently calculated is problematic, to say the least, in that groceries and gas are no longer included in the Consumer Price Index. That's right. The Consumer Price Index no longer containing gas and groceries. Why is that? Oh, they're too volatile. So, for everybody who's looking out for the poor, let me know how many poor people you know that aren't exposed to food and gas prices, which, by the way, compound on each other because gas prices reflect on food prices as well, especially the cost of diesel. So, but in any case, the Fed has caused the market to stutter and shudder because they're worried about 2 rate hikes, probably 25 basis points in 2 years, which is, yeah. I don't know. You think that's going to suddenly shut down inflation? So I'm not going to get into the whole should the Federal Reserve exist sort of line of thinking in this video. I'll conserve that line of thinking for a different video. But the whole idea of allowing a consensus of banks to just artificially adjust by proxy, by fiat, artificially adjust the interest rate is just ridiculous. It's the largest block of business in the world, folks. The interest on international and corporate loans, the largest block of business in the world. So anyway, some fascinating news about the Fed for you there, if you weren't aware. The market volatility, a result of the Fed saying scary, spooky things about 2 interest hikes in 2 years. Oh my God, stop the presses. But make sure you spend all your dollars today, folks. Geez, I'm very concerned. I'm gonna buy a whole case of motorcycle helmets so that I can hide in a bunker. Because, all right, let's don't go there, shall we? Let's don't go. Let's don't go there. Let's don't go to a ranch. All right. So, somebody shout out a news source. Leave a comment. Tell us a news source, and we'll head to it. In the meantime, until somebody provides a news source in the comments, we're going to go to the insufferable NBC news site. So this should be nice. I'm sure you'll be excited to see what NBC News' most pathetic, top headline is, which is Biden and Putin say progress made in Geneva, but wide gulfs on issues remain. That's my NBC News voice. I told President Putin. Holy cripes, get me off the screen. I told President Putin my agenda is not against Russia or anyone else. It's for the American people, Biden told reporters following the session. Well, thank goodness. He's saying, when I get back to the U.S., I'm gonna go to everybody's backyard, and I'll let you play with my leg hair, and I'll personally vaccinate you. Kamala and I will come over for a pool party. We will personally vaccinate you, and it's gonna be a delight. So, cheers. Putin's not going to come and vaccinate you. It's just going to be me. Your president, Barack Obama. No malarkey Joe is no malarkey, folks. Now, I was talking to one of my colleagues earlier today. Shout out to Kyle if you're watching, about how we should bring back some archaic terms. I think we've got to bring back hogwash, poppycock, malarkey, and rubes. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Hogwash, poppycock, malarkey, and rubes. I'll type it in the chat. Hogwash, poppycock, rubes, and malarkey. Malarkey. No malarkey is permitted in this chat. No malarkey. All right, so what was that movie? Can somebody comment, let us know what that movie was featuring? What the hell was it? John Travolta. The Natural. It was written and directed by Fred Durst. And if you haven't seen this thing, smash staff. What was this movie called? I can never remember the titles of movies. You have got to watch this film. It is absolutely amazing. Written and directed by Fred Durst. It's absolutely ridiculous. It features John Travolta as an aspiring actor who performed as a street actor on the Hollywood Strip. And then he's involved in he has a non-sexual crush on an action hero. And it's absolutely amazing. If you've never seen it, you should seriously check it out. What is it called? I'm going to look it up. I think it's called The Natural. Nope. All right, I'm now typing in Travolta Durst. The Fanatic. There we go. From 2019, The Fanatic. If you've never seen this flick, holy crap. I mean, strap on your freaking safety belt. I guess I can let it play the trailer with the audio muted. That'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, so seriously, watch this movie. It is, but fasten your safety belts because you will be like, what the hell is this incoherent mess? This movie is the living embodiment of Limp Bizkit lyrics. I mean, dude, Moose, you will be you'll be enthralled by this. I'm telling you. Whew. It's raising my heart rate and blood pressure just watching the trailer because it's so ridiculous. You'll find yourself backing it up and saying, "What did he say?" The accents, because he's like doing a guy who's rather severely autistic's accent, and like, oh my gosh, look at the hair smash. Look at the hair smash on this guy. Oh my gosh, what? Look at this specimen. Wait, let me get a better shot here. We got to get a close-up of this hairdo. Jeez, they're showing a lot of stuff in the trailer here. Oh my God. Look at the hairdo on this specimen. Could you imagine being at a Church of Scientology meeting when this guy's standing up front talking about Scientology donations with this hairdo? Good God. Yeah, I spent the whole day shooting with Fred Durst. Seriously, if you haven't seen this movie, The Fanatic, oh my gosh. Here's some audio. It is berserk. Absolutely berserk. So yeah, make sure you check out The Fanatic. Oh man. I may have to rent this again. I don't even know. It might be free on Netflix. I'm not sure. It might be free on Netflix. Whew. Smash staff, leave us a comment. Let us know. All right. So, yeah. Hogwash, poppycock, rubes, and malarkey. We got to bring those terms back. All those terms. Nona314 says, remember Saturday Night Fever and Look Who's Talking. Yes. I actually saw Look Who's Talking in the theater. That was pretty depressing. All right, let's check out my least favorite of all the news sites ever since COVID broke out, CBS News. They used to just straight up play pharmaceutical ads on their homepage. Full screen ads that you couldn't get off the screen until they played. Those have been, I guess, taken down. CBS does not exactly have what we would call tact when it comes to appearing to be objective. Of all the ridiculous news sources, CBS has been the most pathetic. I mean, look, Walter Cronkite, when he was intentionally miscovering the Vietnam conflict, worked for CBS. It's the original fake news, CBS. They're showing you ads. Look at this. This is CBS News. They're showing you ads for like a Marvel movie or something. What even is this? Get this out of here. Latest headlines. Latest news. Okay, here we go. So you got to scroll down past this horrific header, which is, look at this. It's a monstrosity. This is their header. They should take a header into obscurity. Stop covering the news, CBS. 2020 is like, have you tried to watch 2020 lately? It is insufferable. You will want to vomit in your own lap. All right, here we go. The top headline is, live updates, Biden and Putin hold press conferences after landmark summit. Putin addressed reporters immediately after the meeting, and Biden took questions from reporters. What a well-written headline. Whoever they're paying six figures to write that, congratulations to you. CBS, oh, look at your gig. You totally have credibility. And I think we may be seeing some voodoo in effect here. What the heck is this all about? What, did they kill him with bamboo skewers? Oh. I guess those are pistol rounds. Lots of them. All right. Let's don't cover that. Policeman charged with murder. All right. Let's get that off the screen immediately. Thanks once again, CBS News. Which brings me to my next point. I regularly visit certain websites, and today I'm going to show you some of the websites that I visit. So thanks for the reminder to CBS News. We like to create a silver lining. When we notice that things are going haywire, we try to create a positive from a horrific situation. Often a crisis is nothing more than an opportunity to display things like leadership and common sense, or perhaps some sort of innovation or something like that, right? So here's another news site you may not be familiar with. It's Law Enforcement Today. And I'm not saying I endorse this or don't endorse this, but it's a thing. But that aside, that's a little bit too political, especially considering the story that we just accidentally covered. Let's check out another website. Since you're viewing this on YouTube, we're going to go to extremetech.com. Because it's a great technology site. It gives you all kinds of insight into what's going on in the world of computing. And since you're viewing the video on YouTube, after all, this live stream is indeed a YouTube exclusive. Why not know stuff about what's going on with the technology, right? Everything doesn't boil down to a chip shortage. You've got lots of chips. We're going to tell you in future videos on things you can do with those chips. So you may not realize that an old computer that is, quote, broken, end quote, isn't quite broken at all. But anyway, seriously, check out Extreme Tech. It's a very good site. I mean, check this one out. I never saw this story. Extreme Tech picked it up. Rogue planets' moons could harbor life, says new study. Perhaps there's a dynamo. Perhaps there's a plasma sphere that gets created between the planet and the moon or something like that. Who knows? Rogue planets, right? Now, most of our viewers that watch our channel associated with like space weather, astronomy, cosmology, and so on. But we also do cover all kinds of other things. If you've never checked out our playlists on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/smashomash/playlists. So yeah, this is a story. I didn't hear anything about this one. But what is their reasoning? Our old friend gravity is the key. Okay. Large gas giant planets can exert extreme gravitational influence on their moons. Just look at Jupiter, which has so much gravity it stretches the crust of its moons. It's stretching that crust, folks. Stretching that crust. And make sure you don't develop anal fissures by stretching crusts, because that could be unhealthful, and we don't want to see that. So let's see what else is going on in science publications. How about, in fact, let's, instead of going to SciTech Daily, we show SciTech Daily articles all the time on the channel. Let's cover this one for once. We haven't shown this for quite a long time. And you may not be familiar with this one. You may be familiar. I don't know. Thanks for tuning in if you're new to the channel. How about eurekalert.org? Yes, eurekalert.org. So we covered a story actually from two different publications. One of the places we featured was Eureka Alert when we talked about the shape of the heliosphere story. So there's a great cosmology video about that in our playlists. So here's one about dark matter slowing the spin of the Milky Way's galactic bar, which is interesting. If you know anything about galactic structure, some spiral galaxies seem to have a bar structure at the middle, and others don't. It's not fully understood why this seems to be a thing, but it probably has to do with the orientation of the most massive stars around the galactic core. Keep in mind, those areas are gigantic. But we have a pretty good view of what's going on with the Milky Way's bar. So it is theorized that Milky Way is a bar galaxy. Of course, we can't see it from this kind of a perspective because we're in one of the spiral arms and nowhere near the galactic core or the bar associated with it. Co-author Dr. Ralph Shendrick, having long suspected Co-author Dr. Ralph Shendrick said, astrophysicists have long suspected that the spinning bar at the center of our galaxy is slowing down. But we have found evidence. We have found the first evidence of this happening. The counterweight slowing this spin must be dark matter. Until now, we have only been able to infer dark matter by mapping gravitational potential of galaxies and subtracting the contribution from visible matter. So there's your problem. The problem is because We don't really know the mass of the Milky Way. We don't know whether it's gaining or losing mass, the same way as we don't know if the sun is gaining or losing mass. Because keep in mind, folks, if you have two bodies and they're both proportionally gaining or losing mass at the same time, it's going to cause a zero shift in the gravitational sum of those two bodies, assuming it's just those two bodies, right? That's just the way it works. If both of their masses increase at the same time in proportion or decrease, your gravitational calculation is going to come up with the exact same gravitational relationship for things like calculating a trajectory. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to get further into gravity because it could lead to depravity. But so that is an interesting story there. Perhaps there's something on the other side of the Milky Way galaxy that we can't see. Maybe it's a galactic version of Nibiru, and maybe you should purchase a whole case of hard hats. You should dig a giant tunnel in the ground and line it with reinforced concrete, put Faraday cages in there, and a sleeping bag, and 4,000 days worth of MREs. And then you'll be just fine. No worries. No worries. I mean, maybe have some NBC filtration. All right, let's check some other science publications here. What's going on with phys.org, right? Since we started talking about the earth and environmentalism and so on. And by the way, I became a pro cyclist in 1999 on the mountain bike in the cross-country discipline of mountain bike racing. And I am an environmentalist, right? The rules of mountain biking require us to not litter. Did you know that? That's a thing. So let's see what's going on. What the heck is this story? Let's see what's going on phys.org in the Earth section. As I see a fascinating, what is up with this? Icebergs drifting from Canada to southern Florida. Huh? All right, so I'm going to try to let this sink in here. And we're going to let this scroll. And I'm going to step away from the microphone, and I'll be right back. All right, so I just, all right, yeah. There we go. What is up with that? Ah, 31,000 years ago, icebergs drifted to southern Florida. All right. I apologize for that temporary aside. All right. Well, it's nice to see people paying attention to parts of the geologic record, but not other parts because reasons. Apparently, temperatures and CO2 levels at 31,000 years ago are foreign data, but the idea that icebergs made it to Florida, those are now mainstream enough to reach the charticle-filled phys.org astronomy and space, Earth section. The phys.org Earth section. Eeks. How should government subsidize clean energy heating? Not should they subsidize clean energy heating, but how should they? And I don't know how they think they're going to do this. Maybe through electricity. Because it's Well, part of it is through solar, of course. Did you know that the International Energy Agency is projecting that by 2045, nearly half of global heating will be done with heat pumps? To ensure speedy uptake, governments are likely to offer subsidies to ensure these energy-efficient options actually make their way into homes and offices. Here we go. My research shows that a heat pump can reduce carbon dioxide emissions from heating by more than 80%. Electrifying heating means we can warm our homes and buildings cleanly. Heat pumps also truly energy efficient. They can produce up to 4 units of heat for every unit of electricity. All right, good. And once again, I don't discourage more efficient techniques. I have been complaining about the internal combustion engine since the 1980s, when I realized it was wasting about 20% of the gas. And perhaps all of the details on that are for a different video as well. By the way, when I used to be a day trader, I used to refuse to trade oil and tobacco stocks. Did you know that? So just to give you some perspective. I think I used to be, I used to think I was a leftist. I always wondered why I had all kinds of disagreements with leftists. And I used to think I was a leftist because I was against stuff like government censorship of 2 Live Crew in the 1980s. So I never really realized that most punk rock people don't want to see the government get any bigger than it overwhelmingly already is. Over half the world's rivers cease to flow for at least 1 day a year on average. What? What is this insane story? All right. Over half the world's rivers cease to flow for at least 1 day a year on average. That sounds like a ridiculous caveat-filled headline, whatever you want to call it. Probability of flow intermittence. Oh my gosh. What it's telling you, folks, is that some rivers dry up for at least 1 day out of the year. Like every year, kind of, sort of, sometimes, occasionally, when they do. Now, I am frightened by this, and it's convinced me that we need a colder planet. Because on a colder planet, we can always have more snow and ice deposited at the poles, which cause sea levels to drop and the Earth's rotation speed to increase. And, wait, where was I now? Oh, right. I was talking about how scary it is that the planet is so freaking hot. Anyway, given continued global climate and land use change, and by the way, land use, like pollution, is an actual problem. The use of things like water resources. It's an issue because of its effect on ecosystems, which ripple outward and affect other ecosystems and other larger systems and so on. But in any case, all right, I'm going to stop covering that. And what else can we talk about? Let's go back to cnbc.com/markets because we got very sidetracked after talking about crypto. So let's check the biggest losers and the biggest winners when it comes to market movers. So we're going to look at market movers on cnbc.com/markets. Yes, I've clicked on this. And now you're going to get ads on your screen. So, a lot of traders only trade. Damn, look at that. Citigroup is down 3.6%, yo. Dag. You'd think they'd be up on talk of possible interest rate hikes. You'd think Citigroup would be up on that, but Ixnay on the they. Dow Chemical is down. Oracle is down 5.7%. What is going on in the NASDAQ? Are Google, Facebook, Twitter, Apple, and Amazon and Tesla getting pummeled? Facebook's down over 2%. Oops. Facebook down 2.168%. I can't imagine who would sell their stock. I mean, it seems like such a good writer of software. Let us know in the comments what you think of Facebook's software. Do you like Facebook's software, folks? Do you think it's good? Let us know in the comments. We'll try not to berate you. And I'm going to let your chat scroll here once again. Thanks, everybody, for leaving comments. If you view the video in syndication, not live, leave us comments anyway. We've got only about 5 more minutes to stream here. Nabo J says, $3 bill, y'alls. Yeah, $3 bill, y'all. Ooh, ooh. And I'm just reading the comments. Bear with me a minute. All right, so here's market movers on the NASDAQ. Ouch. Activision Blizzard down 2.8%. These aren't real huge moves here, folks. I mean, 2.9% for Moderna. What went wrong with Moderna? Is Moderna in the news? Down $6 per share. That's not really very much for a nearly $200 stock. Let's see what the 1-year chart looks like on Moderna. Oh my God, poor Moderna. Jeez, oh whiz. It's a good thing nobody's taken any. Oh my God, they've gone down since I better take that off the screen immediately. Did 1 million viewers just tune in or what? What is the deal with that? All right. Geez, it took a dive while we had it on the screen there, folks. On a related note, what is going on with Oracle? Oracle. There's the 1-year chart of Oracle. And I'm pretty sure that was just divine providence there, folks, not luck or anything like that. You don't want to see it. It seriously tanked like 2% while on screen. All right. Well, sorry to everybody over at Oracle. I don't have any known direct issue with Oracle. Cheers. I don't have any enemies, period. How do you like them apples? All right. Why is Snap-on Tools down? Snap-on Tools down 3.5%? Are you kidding me? Come on. Snap-on, it's probably because of fuel prices, right? They've got a lot of independent contractors, Snap-on Tools. You know, you got any friends that are Snap-on contractors? They are awfully dope tools. You got to admit. The Snap-on line, woo! One of my buddies used to work on cars a lot. And them Snap-on joints are some sweet socket sets. What else do we have? Organon? What is Organon? Does anybody know? Organon and Company. Here's the 1-year chart of Organon. What the heck? If you're wondering what Organon is, one of today's losers, it's a science-based global pharmaceutical company engaged in developing and delivering health solutions through a portfolio of prescription therapies within women's health, biosimilars, and established brands. Its women's health portfolio includes Nexplanon or Implanon NXT, a patented long-acting reversible contraceptive. Sounds great. Anyway, it's not doing well today. Cheers. Who is doing well on the NASDAQ? Oh, that's the S&P. Why are we on the S&P? I thought I was on the NASDAQ. I apologize. Peloton is down 2.6. Oh my God. People are selling their Pelotons and they're riding bikes outside in some of the most beautiful weather. And you know what? Let's actually cover it. Cover some weather stuff. How you like them apples? Here comes some meteorology. And so the first thing we'll show there is the U.S. Doppler radar map. Some heavy storms over Florida. Don't sit inside and lose your you-know-what. Be delighted that you're in a state that fared one of the best states in the entire country. Florida fared extremely well in the past year, despite the scamdemic. I mean, the scary, spooky pandemic. By the way, congratulations on not being dead. You're still viewing the grass from the correct side. We appreciate that. To all of our viewers, leave us a comment if you've got a specific weather forecast. If you're wondering how the weather will change, the next slide might actually show you that anyway. Let's put that on screen. Smash staff. Do your job or you're getting a pay cut. By the way, consider giving Smash staff a raise by becoming a patron at patreon.com/smashamash. Thanks to our patrons. So what we're looking at here is the water vapor map, and you can see the jet stream injecting the cold non-beef injection into the southern U.S. here, blowing some cold air across the Great Lakes. It's been quite chilly in Pennsylvania and quite dry as well. Fantastic weather, which I had to brave. I had to brave not braving the weather by being indoors to make this video for you people. So press like and subscribe and share. Tell your friends and foes about the channel. As it's about time to close this thing out, as we must be quite close to the 1 hour mark. Leave comments now or forever hold your psss. And I'm going to let the comments scroll here one more time before I close things out. Thanks again for viewing, everybody. Make sure you join us next week for the weekly stream. And by the way, we're going to make a publicly visible Zoom call. So next week, we expect to allow people to just call in. You'll be able to actually appear audio and visible right in the video. We'll mess around with mics a little bit, but you'll be able to actually be in the video next week. So look for that. Patrons will have first dibs on those links, and we'll see how many people are going to show up and so on. We'll worry about sort of the specifics of all that stuff as we need to. It'll be on a need to set a setting basis. Anyway, we're out. Thanks for tuning in to Smash News Network, least busted name in news. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. smAsho. And we'll close things out with a different Golden Cat Productions track. This one's called Glacial Drift 9.